태초에 하나님이 천지를
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters to separate the waters from the waters." So God made the expanse and separated the waters under the expanse from the waters above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse heaven. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit, in which is their seed, each according to its kind." And it was so. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the expanse of the heavens to separate the day from the night, and let them be signs to mark seasons, days, and years, and let them give light upon the earth." So God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the great sea creatures, and every living creature that moves in the waters according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds, livestock and creeping things and beasts of the earth." And it was so. God made the beasts of the earth according to their kinds, and the livestock and everything that creeps on the ground. God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the heavens, the livestock, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image, male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. On the seventh day, God finished his work, and rested from all his work. God blessed the seventh day, and made it holy, because on it he rested from all the work of creation. These are the generations of heaven and earth when they were created. No rain had yet fallen upon the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. A mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. The Lord God planted a garden in the east, in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground the Lord God made to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food. And in the middle of the garden were the tree of life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and there it divided and became 4 rivers. The name of the first is Pishon. It flows around the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. The name of the second is Gihon. It flows around the whole land of Cush. The name of the third is Tigris, which flows east of Assyria. And the fourth is the Euphrates. The Lord God took the man and put him in the garden to work it and keep it. And the Lord commanded the man, saying, "You may freely eat of every tree of the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Then the Lord God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helper fit for him." So God formed out of the ground every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. Whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. The man gave names to all livestock and to the birds of the heavens and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper fit for him. So the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and while he slept, took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. And the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man he made into a woman and brought her to the man. Then the man said, "This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother, and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." The man and his wife were both naked and were not ashamed. Now the serpent was more crafty than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. It said to the woman, "Did God actually say, 'You shall not eat of any tree in the garden'?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden, God has said, 'You shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it, lest you die.' But the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Then the eyes of both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. And they heard the sound of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man and said, "Where are you?" And he said, "I heard the sound of you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself." He said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you not to eat?" The man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit of the tree, and I ate." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." The Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all livestock and above all beasts of the field. On your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." To the woman he said, "I will surely multiply your pain in childbearing. In pain you shall bring forth children. Your desire shall be for your husband, and he shall rule over you." To Adam he said, "Because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for you. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread until you return to the ground, for you are dust, and to dust you shall return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all the living. The Lord God made for Adam and for his wife garments of skin, and clothed them. Then the Lord God said, Behold, the man has become like one of us in knowing good and evil. Now, lest he reach out his hand and take also of the tree of life, and eat and live forever. Therefore, the Lord God sent him out from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he was taken. He drove out the man, and at the east of the Garden of Eden he placed the cherubim and a flaming sword that turned Eve. Adam knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel also brought of the firstborn of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. The Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. Cain spoke to his brother Abel, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is your brother Abel? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. Now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden, and I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me. The Lord said to him, Therefore, whoever kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Lord put a mark on Cain to prevent anyone who found him from killing him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad fathered Mehujael, and Mehujael fathered Methushael, and Methushael fathered Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives. The name of one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. Ada bore Jabal. He was the father of those who dwell in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play the lyre and pipe. Zillah also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every craftsman in bronze and iron. Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain's revenge is 7-fold, then Lamech's is 77-fold. And Adam again knew his wife, and she bore a son, and called his name Seth. For she said, God has appointed for me another offspring instead of Abel, whom Cain killed. To Seth also a son was born, and he called his name Enosh. At that time, men began to call upon the name of the Lord. These are the generations of Adam. When God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. Male and female, he created them, and he blessed them, and called their name Man when they were created. The life of Adam after he fathered Seth was 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. Seth lived 105 years and fathered Enosh. Seth lived after he fathered Enosh 807 years and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. Enosh lived 90 years and fathered Kenan, and he lived after he fathered Kenan 815 years and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. Kenan fathered Mahalalel, Mahalalel fathered Jared, Jared fathered Enoch, Enoch fathered Methuselah, and so the generations continued according to the record. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Methuselah fathered Lamech, Lamech fathered Noah. Noah was 500 years old, and begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. When men began to multiply on the face of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of man were attractive, and they took as their wives any they chose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. At that time there were giants on the earth, and also afterward, when the sons of God came in to the daughters of man, and they bore children to them. These were the mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. And the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord regretted that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out man, whom I have created from the face of the ground, man and animals, and creeping things, and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The earth was corrupt before God and filled with violence. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence through them. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch. Make the ark with the following dimensions: length 300 cubits, breadth 50 cubits, and height 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark and finish it to a cubit from above. Set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For behold, I will bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall die, but I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh, you shall bring 2 of every sort into the ark, to keep them alive with you. Male and female shall they be, of the birds after their kind, and of the animals after their kind, of every creeping thing of the ground after its kind. 2 of every sort shall come into you, to keep them alive. Also, take with you every living thing that is eaten, and store up food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. And the Lord said to Noah, Go into the ark, you and all your household, for I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of all clean animals, and a pair of the animals that are not clean, the birds also, and the cattle as pairs, to keep their kind alive on the face of all the earth. For in 7 days I will send rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights, and I will blot out from the face of the earth every living thing that I have made. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, on that day all the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the windows of the heavens were opened. The rain fell upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives went into the ark to escape the waters of the flood. The animals, the livestock, and every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth, 2 and 2, came into the ark to Noah, male and female, as God had commanded Noah. And the Lord shut him in. The flood continued 40 days on the earth. The waters increased and bore up the ark, so that it rose above the earth. The waters prevailed and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the face of the waters. The waters prevailed so mightily that the mountains were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and all flesh died that moved on the earth, birds, livestock, beasts, all swarming creatures that swarm on the earth, and all mankind, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life died. Thus the Lord blotted out every living thing that was on the face of the ground, man and animals and creeping things, and birds of the heavens. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained. The waters prevailed on the earth 150 days, but God remembered Noah and all the beasts and all the livestock that were with him in the ark. God made a wind blow over the earth, and the waters subsided. The fountains of the deep and the windows of the heavens were closed, and the rain from heaven was restrained. The waters gradually decreased from the earth, and at the end of 150 days the waters had abated. In the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. The waters continued to decrease until the 10th month. On the 1st day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. After 40 days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made and sent out a raven, and it went to and fro until the waters were dried up from the earth. He also sent out a dove to see if the waters had abated from the face of the ground. But the dove found no place to set her foot, and returned to him into the ark, for there was water over the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand and took her and brought her into the ark. He waited another 7 days and again sent forth the dove out of the ark, and the dove came back to him in the evening. And behold, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters had subsided from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent forth the dove, and she did not return to him again. In the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the waters were dried up from the earth. Noah removed the covering of the ark and looked, and he saw that the face of the ground was dry. And God said to Noah, "Go out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you of all flesh, birds and animals and every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, so that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth." So Noah went out, and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him. Every beast, every creeping thing, and every bird, everything that moves on the earth, went out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took some of every clean animal and of every clean bird, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, "I will never again curse the ground because of man. For the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. I will never again strike down every living creature as I have done. while the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. God blessed Noah and his sons, and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth. The fear of you and the dread of you shall be upon every beast of the earth, and upon every bird of the heavens, and upon everything that creeps on the ground, and into your hand they are delivered. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I give you everything that yields seed, and every tree whose fruit yields seed to you for food. Only you shall not eat flesh with its life, that is, its blood. For your lifeblood I will require a reckoning. From every beast I will require it, and from man. From his fellow man I will require a reckoning for the life of man. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and multiply in it. God said to Noah and to his sons with him, Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds, the livestock, and every beast of the earth with you, as many as came out of the ark. I establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. And God said, This is the sign of the covenant that I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you. I set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. When I bring clouds over the earth, and the bow is seen in the cloud, I will remember my covenant that is between me and you and every living creature of all flesh. And the waters shall never again become a flood to destroy all flesh. When the bow is in the cloud, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is on the earth. The sons of Noah who went forth from the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham is the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and from these the peoples of the whole earth were dispersed after the flood. Noah began to be a man of the soil and planted a vineyard. He drank of the wine and became drunk and lay uncovered within his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brothers outside. Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke from his wine and knew what his youngest son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be to his brothers. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. May God enlarge Japheth, and let him dwell in the tents of Shem, and let Canaan be his servant. Noah lived 350 years after the flood, and all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. The records of the descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth after the flood follow, listing their sons and the nations that spread over the earth in their lands, each with its own language, clan, and nation. Thus we have read and reflected on Genesis chapters 1 through 10. God created the world by his word and saw that it was very good. Yet through human disobedience, sin entered the world, bringing sorrow and suffering. Even so, God did not abandon humanity. Through Noah, he opened a way of salvation, and by the covenant marked with the rainbow, he promised never again to destroy the world by a flood. That promise is not merely an ancient story. It remains a living assurance for us today. Beloved, God does not forget us. Even when we drift away through sin, He continually prepares the way of salvation and calls us to Himself. Our beginning and our end are always with God, and only in Him can we find true life and hope. May this word help you experience God's love anew. May our lives be built not on our desires, but on God's will. Thank you for listening. May God's grace and peace be with your household and with your life.